All right, everybody. Are you ready to dive into some unconventional financial wisdom today?
Yeah.
We're cracking open Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki,
Mm-hmm.
but with a twist.
Okay.
We're looking at it through the lens of its Hindi translation.
Interesting.
So have you ever thought about how financial advice might land differently, in another language?
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you're deciphering a secret code to unlock all these new layers of meaning and concepts you thought you knew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we both know this book takes a swing at some pretty ingrained financial advice, right?
Oh.
Like the whole good grades, good job, good life narrative.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, come on.
Totally.
But what Kiyosaki calls the rat race, it really hits home, don't you think?
Absolutely. He doesn't sugarcoat it at all.
Right.
That constant cycle of working for a paycheck and paying bills and then just feeling like you're barely keeping your head above water. Mm-hmm. Kiyosaki argues that's often because we're following a script that isn't actually leading us towards financial freedom.
You know, it's funny. I actually played Kiyosaki's board game Cash Flow a while back.
Oh, wow.
And it was eye-opening.
Right.
Even financially savvy adults were tripping up on those core concepts like assets versus liabilities.
Yeah.
It made me realize how many of us are just going through the motions with money,
Right.
Not really understanding how to make it work for us.
It's like trying to speak a language but not knowing the grammar, right?
Yeah.
Kiyosaki argues that financial literacy is key. It's not just about earning money. It's about understanding how to make your money work for you, how to escape that whole rat race mentality.
And that's where the whole rich dad, poor dad comparison comes in, right?
Exactly.
Kiyosaki's experiences growing up with these two father figures, his own dad, the poor dad who followed that traditional path, and then his friend's dad, the rich dad, who taught him about money and investing.
Right.
It's such a stark contrast.
It's a powerful comparison because it highlights those subtle ways that our beliefs about money get shaped from when we're really young.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about the phrases we hear growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees, or,
We can't afford that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those messages, they just become ingrained.
They do.
And then they influence our financial decisions even as adults.
Oh, it totally reminds me of that anecdote in the book.
Which one?
The two dads contrasting responses to wanting something.
Oh, yeah.
The poor dad is I can't afford it versus how can I afford it?
Right.
Such a simple shift in language.
Huge difference though, right?
But it speaks volumes.
It does.
About their mindsets.
One is closed, focused on limitations.
Yeah.
The other one is open, prompting that creative problem solving.
Totally.
Kiyosaki is pushing us to question those inherited beliefs about money.
Okay.
To see if they're actually helping us or if they're holding us back.
And that shift in perspective is crucial for understanding his core principle.
Which is?
Rich people acquire assets. Okay.
The poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets.
Oh, interesting.
It's like he's saying we need to redefine our whole relationship with money.
It's about recognizing the difference between things that are putting money in your pocket.
Assets.
Exactly. And things that are taking money out.
Liabilities.
He uses the example of a house.
Okay.
It's often touted as this great investment. But if you're stuck with a huge mortgage, is it really an asset in that moment or is it a liability?
Right.
Is it a financial burden?
It's about seeing those sneaky liabilities disguised as assets, right?
Yes.
Like that fancy car that loses value the second you drive it off the lot.
Yeah.
Or the credit card debt that just keeps piling up.
Mm-hmm.
We think we're building a good life, but we might actually be digging ourselves deeper into the rat race.
It's insidious, isn't it? It's we're always striving for that security.
Yeah.
But the more we get, the more trapped we become.
It's like that saying,
working hard for things you don't need to impress people you don't like.
Oh, yeah.
Kiyosaki really wants us to break free from that.
For sure.
So how do we do that?
Well.
He's all about building wealth by acquiring assets.
Right.
But what does that actually look like?
So he breaks it down into a few key categories.
Okay.
And it's important to note, he's not giving specific financial advice here.
Okay.
He wants you to find what aligns with your goals, your risk tolerance.
Right.
It's like he's giving you the tools to build your own toolbox.
Okay. So what kind of tools are we talking about?
One example he gives is businesses that don't require you to be there all the time.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You build a system that makes money, even when you're not working.
Passive income.
Exactly.
Okay.
He talks about his rich dad buying businesses, apartment buildings, real estate, things that give him cash flow without clocking in.
Instead of trading your time for money, you're building something that works for you.
Exactly.
Even while you sleep.
He also includes stocks, bonds, intellectual property,
Okay.
assets that can grow in value or create passive income over time.
This is where it gets overwhelming for some people, right?
Yeah.
How do you know which stocks to pick? Or like what real estate is a good investment?
Right.
It's like he expects everyone to become a financial expert overnight.
Well, he really emphasizes financial intelligence.
Oh?
And no, you don't need an MBA for this.
Okay, good.
It's about being curious, doing your research,
Mm-hmm.
understanding how things work.
Mm-hmm.
He recommends reading books, attending seminars, talking to experts.
Right.
Constantly learning.
It was a lifelong journey.
Exactly.
It's like that story he tells about buying that small property in Portland.
Oh, yeah, in Oregon.
He waited for the market to improve, sold it for a profit,
Smart.
then rolled those gains into an even bigger property.
Wow.
It was strategic.
Yeah.
He even used something called a 1031 exchange to minimize taxes.
Oh, right. To
Yeah.
defer those capital gains.
Exact.
Interesting.
So you know it's really about being actively involved in your finances.
He's not just saying park your money and hope for the best.
Right.
Kiyosaki wants you to understand market cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Use those tax advantages.
Be proactive.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say you're ready to start investing.
Okay.
A lot of people hit a wall.
What's that?
Fear.
Oh, yeah.
What if I lose everything?
It's a common fear.
What if I make a bad decision?
He addresses that head on.
Does he?
He talks about failure as part of the process,
Okay.
not in like a discouraging way.
Okay.
More like get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I like that.
He compares it to golf.
Okay.
A pro golfer isn't afraid to take a swing, even if they miss the shot.
Right.
They learn from it. They improve.
So it's about reframing failure
Yes.
as a learning opportunity.
Kiyosaki wants us to be more resilient.
Embrace the challenges.
Exactly.
So we're learning, taking risks, but where do we even begin with all this?
Well, Kiyosaki has this one piece of advice. Pay yourself first. It's pretty simple, but it can change everything.
You mean like before paying bills or anything, set aside money for your goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most people do the opposite, right?
They pay everyone else first.
Yeah. And then whatever's left goes to savings, if anything.
Gotcha.
Kiyosaki says, flip the script.
Okay.
Make your financial goals a non-negotiable expense.
Like paying rent.
Exactly.
Even if it's a small amount at first.
Even just starting is huge.
It's about prioritizing your future self.
Right.
Building that security, creating opportunities.
It all starts with that mindset shift.
And it reminds me of those kids in the book making their own comic book printing press.
Oh, yeah, with the mimeograph machine.
They didn't wait for a loan or anything. They just got resourceful.
Resourcefulness is key.
Kiyosaki's saying, start where you are with what you have.
Don't wait for the perfect time.
Just start.
Exactly, and never underestimate knowledge.
Right. Financial literacy.
Your best weapon against bad decisions.
Keep learning, asking questions, finding guidance.
Don't be afraid to reach out to those who've done it.
It all comes back to that rich dad philosophy, right?
Becoming an investor, not just an employee.
Understanding how to make your money work for you.
Taking control of your financial destiny.
It's not about luck or privilege.
It's about choices.
Building that financial intelligence.
And taking action.
Consistent action.
That's how you reach your goals.
And surrounding yourself with the right people.
Absolutely. Mentors are crucial.
Kiyosaki talks about learning from those who've already achieved what you want.
Find your people.
It's about support, encouragement, accountability.
A network that understands your goals.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
The Hindi translation, no less.
what's the one thing you want our listener to take away?
Remember, building wealth isn't just about money.
It's about personal growth, too.
Challenging yourself. Changing how you think.
Stepping into your power.
Becoming the architect of your own financial future.
It's about changing how you think about money.
Building that financial knowledge.
And having the courage to take those first steps.
Towards the life you want.
It's about small, consistent actions.
Fueled by knowledge and a clear vision.
Leading to incredible results over time.
It's all possible.
So what will your first step be? That's something to think about as we finish up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Thanks for joining us.